Boobery, behind the schemes. This has been a long time coming. Welcome to the show.
Hello, how's it going?
Oh, that sounds really good now. Yeah, good. Yeah.
I realized I had the wrong microphone input.
So much
Damn.
for that the pretest where I'm like,
Yeah,
hey,
right?
so good.
Yeah, I recently switched up some of the arcane audio routing, and I haven't committed it to memory yet.
Oh boy. That sounds complicated to me.
Lots of digital dials and faders to adjust in tons of places. You like sources? I got sources for you.
And we just realized that Google is much better for us on StreamYard. We are having audio problems and in another browser. So, yeah, we just fixed some problems just by going to Google, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, that's kind of the same boat that we're in. We use Clean Feed as we're an audio only podcast for the most part. But I've just found that it seems to behave a little better inside of Chrome,
Right? Yeah. How do you
which
like
isn't.
Clean Feed?
It's a must-have.
Really?
Would not do the show without it. I mean, sorry, that's not accurate, but it is an integral part of our show. I think I know that Clean Feed provides just that like crisp audio quality that you're really looking for. It's one of the longest paid for services that I've been using for BTS.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, super
What is
good.
what are some of the other things you like about it? Like how's the interface and stuff like that for guests or people that pop in?
Interface is fairly straightforward to use. I could probably actually give you a quick little
Sure. Sure.
display of that. I got a little easel thing over here I can pull up and give you a tutorial.
Yeah, sure. I'm just gonna put a note in our chats that we're live too.
Yeah, so Clean Feed, it's just, you got you as the person hosting the call. You can get in here, change your audio. I'm using a different input right now, which is not the right one. Change your headphones. You can connect people, either do like a general room chat, or if you want to send it to someone privately, you can do that as well. Sir Seat Sitter, I believe, uses the clip playback here, so he loads up all of his ISOs like you would see here.
Hand-eye coordination down. Problem solving down.
Little OBDM there.
A lot of OBDM, and that's not even an eighth of it. But yeah, it's you can load up all sorts of clip playback in there. You can record through Clean Feed. You've got some other longer form clips that you can do for like intros and stuff. You have some ability to get in here and adjust audio playback features. This feature, auxiliary outputs, is actually an integral part to how we pulled off the first satellite skirmish. We had 5 cartoon MCs like the one you see here on screen, and everybody was in a Clean Feed call, and we were able to send one audio signal to the recording and the streams and whatnot. But using the auxiliary routing, you're able to like plug it into these little GIF puppets, and everyone has their own channel. So you're not like one person's talking doesn't activate the other ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
How did you get it? How did you get interested in all this? You seem like you're on the pretty much the vanguard of podcasting 2.0 and the audio video stuff. Like, have you always been interested in it? How long have you been doing this for?
I didn't really discover podcasts as a form of entertainment until 2017. There was like a lot of strange high weirdness going on in my life, and I was on tour with a musical at the time and just kind of shooting the shit with one of the local stagehands, and was telling him about some of these crazy happenings that have been going on, and he said, "Hey, you should check out this buddy of mine's show called Higher Side Chats." And I was pretty much sold. Ooh, brought a little goat action tonight. I got y'all streaming live through the Podcasting 2.0 apps, and you're included in the split for tonight. So,
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, but I thought I'll just leave it up to see what happens.
oh no, you got to get the splits in there. The splits are like by far most integral part of what Podcasting 2.0 has been bringing to the table, because you can get in here and turn it into a full tilt production between programmers, people that work on the apps, hosts, artists. That's one thing that I'm really excited for when it comes to this upcoming concert, as we have 22 people split into this one, and the splits are set up in such a way it kind of represents who was working on what scene at what time. So like for this intro, I did the video work for it, so there's 16%. One of our artists, Sch3m3s, drew a hot air balloon that shows up in there, so she's featured for 17%. Lavish, my co-host, he did the music for it. We got a guy from Japan that did the voiceover. He's 17%. So it just kind of cascades throughout the whole production like this. Once we get to the like introductions of the bands, the value split now engages to where the narrator and the people doing the underscore are receiving a higher percentage, and then it clicks in again once we get to the bands, and now the bands have the vast majority of the splits.
And so if somebody donates this currency, this digital currency during band A, it goes to whatever split happens during that donation time frame, right?
Yep, because these are all live chapters. So when you are listening in a Podcasting 2.0 app like a CurioCaster here, let's do a little side-by-side shootout. You can see maybe better how this works in real time. I'll go to the episode oh my God, there's too many of them. There we go. So this is what I have loaded up here for today's call. And like, here's a couple of music tracks. Now, if I was to unmute this, we would hear music coming through the stream, and the art had switched over. I don't know why it disengaged, but yeah, you can, every time you switch one of these, it's not only changing the artwork and the title and stuff, but it's activating everybody's wallets associated with those tracks too. Which is, that's how we're doing the wallet switch. And that's how the music podcasts like Homegrown Hits, Lightning Thrashes, Sats and Sounds, Before the Schemes, there's a whole plethora of them. That's how they're able to play all this music on shows, both live and recorded versions. And people can boost Bitcoin to those tracks. The apps, a good majority of the apps know when you are switching these wallets, so they can redirect accordingly.
Wow. So what about
I can't even figure out how to get the podcast hooked up to get Satoshis. I don't even know how to do that. I got someone did the one show for us. Might have been you. Someone did it for us, though, and it just started working. I don't know what happened, but then I tried to do the A-list, and because it's sort of the same style show, it's value for value. It's kind of no agenda, cross between no agenda and Grimerica, and except Canadian. So
A.
Kind of A.
I love Canada. I've always had a blast going up there. Shame's the government sucks so bad.
Yeah, the government's a real shame.
But yeah, actually, Toronto was the first time I was ever out of the country proper. Yeah, Disney on Ice, 2012.
Yeah, it's probably changed quite a bit since then.
Probably.
Yeah, and it's going to change a little bit more in the next 4 or 5 years too. My prediction. So Darren, what's the difference between the Satoshi and the Bitcoin then? Like, can you just donate either of those? Or I thought this was all Satoshi
like
based.
A tiny little bit of a Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a penny to a dollar sort of thing.
Oh, and the one that like the 2.0 was set up with Satoshis, or was there another currency?
It is currently Bitcoin. I know that there are people working to integrate like Monero, I believe. That's all kind of out of my wheelhouse. I never even really engaged with Bitcoin until it came to getting it set up with the show. And that process entailed getting a Raspberry Pi, which I'm still rocking to this day. And I set up a Bitcoin node on there, and like Darren was saying, a Satoshi is 1/100 millionth of a Bitcoin. So like when you heard that goat being murdered earlier, that was Chad F boosting 666 sats to the podcast, and it's split 50-50 to us for this particular show. And I'm not really someone that gets in here and worries about the like currency exchange. I don't really care. I like using the Satoshis to trigger stuff and give credit to the production. It's just like
Right.
it's too much fun to sit here and penny pinch about what are the numbers.
Oh yeah, no. This is great. I mean, so we got 333 sats from the goat killer.
Yep, Chad F, the one and only.
Chad F, thank you, dude. That's awesome.
So it works the same way for this music. You know, you can come in here and boost all of these tracks. We got some new Oystenberg out today. That's cool.
So these are like productions that are out, and then you also do these live concerts, right? Is that kind of what, or is that are they live, or are you just playing them like is it more of a DJ thing, or are you doing the live? I thought there was some live stuff going on too.
So there's a couple of different aspects to it. Currently, the podcast index, if I had to guess, probably has about just under 4,000 music type RSS feeds, which distinguishes it from a podcast type feed. And that's why all of these music type feeds can show up in these music players. It's because that medium type is set.
Okay. Yep.
So this behaves kind of as you would expect when you replace podcast MP3s with music tracks. Each one of these either represents an album or, like a single.
Yeah.
And there is also some live experiences that we've been working on since last. The first one was April 6th in 2024. There's a local band called 12 Rods, and in the Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we did a 2-band show at a local rehearsal space and hung a 48-inch disco ball. So in place of having the serenading cacophony of goats screaming being these boost alerts, we shined 4 lights at this disco ball, and every time someone boosted, this massive ball was lighting up all over the room. And that was the first stream concert that we had published as Thunder Road Media, which is kind of like a hobby production outfit, just putting shows on for fun. And I might actually have a photo of. You can come in here and watch not on this particular RSS feed, but if you look up 12 Rods Tour clips in like Podverse, Curiocaster, you can watch the full video. We also have it split up into individual tracks so that people can come in here and grab them for their music shows.
Wow.
and play them. So it's like it's kind of like in a chapter, but in my opinion, better, because then all of like the wallet stuff is really accessible using this split kit tool, courtesy of Stephen Bell. And it works for just like doing regular old chapters too. You know, like for our show, I have artwork loaded up every week. We go into Sch3m3s and we can change the artwork. I really don't know why it's bouncing back and forth. It should just be locked in. But the next series of concerts that we started was, and we're coming up on the 4th one. It's kind of the season finale. They're called the Satellite Skirmishes, and the first 3 were styled as a live stream battle of the bands. And we've had people streaming in from Montreal. We've had people streaming in from Texas. We've had people streaming in from Australia.
So then you would just like put a camera on yourself and mic yourself in the same as you would if you're recording, and just send it out to this sort of.
It's for the bands. It's like they would be streaming to Twitch or anything else,
or
right?
YouTube, just doing a little YouTube thing of their jam in their basement sort of thing. They could do it like that, or they could be film it while they're at a venue someplace, or all the above sort of thing.
Yes. If they can get a live stream link into an RSS feed and turn that item on, that live item, then they would be streaming in podcast apps. whether it be a rehearsal, whether it be a live show at a venue, whether it be, a special event like one of these. I'm sitting here emoting to the screen and you can't see me.
Yeah, no, we
I
get
need
it.
little
Yeah.
Mothman arms.
I mean, considering you don't do video, you're like way better at it than we are. And we do it.
This is this has been my primary focus over the last year, and that's after this one. There's a big swan song energy brewing, and just the art direction and the things that we got queued up to fire off for this show. But it's been a ton of work from a ton of people, and we don't have to get into the full thing, but if you just wanted to, maybe like we could scrub through and
I can
Yeah,
play a few
yeah.
seconds
This
from
is
it.
fantastic. I mean, I think you're really like this is a real culture
Do
change.
you have any Graham clips in there?
what's that?
Do you have any clips of Graham in there?
Yeah.
I might. Let's
I have
see.
not been asked.
No Graham
Okay, the
clips.
comments, buddy.
Damn.
You don't have
Uh,
like popping my root chakra with a didgeridoo clip. I hope not. No.
If someone ISOs that, I can get that
Yeah,
in
no.
like
We
2
don't have
seconds
to
for you.
talk- we don't have to talk about
It's
that.
we have a bot in the IRC chat. It's called ISObot, and as we're doing the live streams, people can type the word ISO space and then whatever phrase they just heard on the stream, and it spits back an MP3 within 30 seconds.
That is awesome. Holy shit. See, this
Uh,
is what I mean, man. You guys are treading, like you guys are out in front of it, man. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're too cutting edge.
So the one thing I like about the podcast in 2.0, there's a specific app that I want to shout out specifically, and this has kind of been a DIY process. We've been adding stuff as needed, just kind of growing it with each show. This again is the Split Kit, which is what we were looking at to switch the chapters live. I've been working with Stephen Bell to develop like a live front end page that's customizable in the way that MySpace was, where you just pop in the information. So each one of these buttons, I just link to the band, put their name in there, put the artwork, and then loaded up each one of these buttons with their wallets. So now instead of being locked in to boosting whatever chapter is live at that moment, you want to go back and give Matt the Tall, the Ocarina player, Mad Sats. You can do that without having to wait for the posted version.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And then, of course, chat room. We have scoreboards. Each one we've been trying to tailor theme scoreboards. This is all coding courtesy of Eric PP. He does a phenomenal job getting these rocking and rolling. I mean, I photoshopped a Galaga scoreboard to him for the first 12 Rod show, and there he came back with an animated Galaga scoreboard that had all of the producers for that show just projected on the wall. It's so good.
Wow, that's awesome.
So
When is your live? When is the finale again?
it is going to be May 10th, 2025.
Okay, awesome.
May 10th, 2025, the Satellite Spotlight. Sprouting Symphonies.
Is that music then again? That's like another Battle of the Bands sort of thing?
We're stepping away from the Battle of the Bands concept for this guy. We're going more so showcase. So it's a smaller number of bands. The previous 3 have been 6 each. This time we're doing 4 bands, which I guess that would be a pretty good segue to talk about our acts here, wouldn't it?
So it's kind of like it reminds me of like a Eurovision or something like that. I don't really know enough about the Eurovision, but it makes me think of like, when the bands come together for Africa or some shit.
Yeah, this is basically Africa. So kicking us off, we got from England, we have The Trusted, which have been uploading music through RSS Blue over the last year. After that is Red Arrow Highway. We have the frontman for that band is Nate Jonovan. He's a returning alumni. He was part of the Satellite Skirmish Autumn Rust with his other band called Death by Lions. He's got a really phenomenal looking studio out back of, and it's just got like the perfect theme. And if you're into UFOs and you're into lizards, I think you'll like it. After that, this is a newer to the scene artist by the name of Mookie. Mookie has been working with a record label out of California called Cannabis Records. So Cannabis Records has been kind of in place of the artists, uploading their music, building the feeds for them, interacting with the music shows. And Bud Tender is the guy that kind of helped us get Mookie and the Trusted booked for this show. And wrapping us out is one of my all-time favorite bands. If it hadn't been for these guys, some of these shows probably would have happened. I don't know if it would have been this quick, but City Beach comes from, it's a big family, and specifically Shredward and his friends will be participating with the stream in City Beach, and I'm very excited. These guys have been around on lnbeats.com. I mean, shoot, if I was going to pull my easel back over here and we went to lnbeats.com, we would have to scroll to the very bottom to find some City Beach. That's how long these guys have been here. So I'm feeling like City Beach coming to the skirmish. It's kind of, oh, actually, I said I was going to scrolling
Yeah.
all the way down.
We can't
Oh,
see
we
it.
can't see it. You didn't. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't put the, I forgot to grab my easel
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
because I flew away. I got too many
Nice.
buttons. I just blew one of my gags. Oh well.
That's okay. That's pretty good.
There I come.
Here he comes back.
Video's hard, man. So yeah. Anyways, City Beach has been here since this started, and it would have been summer of 2023. See, I'm still scrolling trying to find them. They're way down here. OGs. Definitionally OGs.
Is that a
Wow.
list of all the bands that are on Podcasting 2.0?
What we're looking at right now, specifically, if I zoom in here, you see this little kind of like W looking icon. This is an outfit called Wave Lake. Wave Lake is quasi connected to the podcast index. In my professional and humble opinion, I think they really plugged in just because of the boosting or the being able to send satoshis to people. Which I don't know. It's that there's a lot of lore that comes along with that. So what we're looking at is, yes, this is all music from Wave Lake. There are certainly people out there that are in support of a more self-hosted, decentralized, DIY sort of ethos. So you can come over here and click this DMU filter, and that will show you the stuff that's kind of more local, homegrown type music. This is actually one of my other hobbies is getting music uploaded for bands and stuff. I'm trying to get away from it a little bit because I had over 100 feeds that had to get updated after there was a change to a wallet, and all of it was by hand, and I was ready to start stuff.
I bet.
Can you
But
search for one of our friends' bands that might be? I mean, they do value for value, and they were on the podcasts. But I don't know if they're in this. Like, I don't know if they're in this thing. But
what's their name?
well, the album is Procession. Their band name is $50 Dynasty. But they went the route, like they published their album themselves. They didn't go through a what do you call it? What do they call those people that do the albums? Producer, or what do they call it? Producer?
Jews?
Damn.
And they did really, really well. Like, they're doing really, really well. And they went value for value with their album. And I mean, and I think they're doing better this way. And they put out their music for, like, people can use the music without the lyrics and stuff, the tracks for stuff. And yeah, it's really good.
Will you send me a link to that? I would love to check it out. I'm not seeing it immediately, but if it's already existing on an RSS feed somewhere, it might just be a matter of coming to the index and adding it.
Yeah, PRE Procession. Yeah. I can't.
But
Yeah,
kind of,
you'd probably love it too. It's very it's very ancient mystery-ish,
ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
One of the other things that I'm really happy with the progression, and we actually kind of got a little bit of an early sneak peek at it, but so you heard the goats being slaughtered in the background. We have gimps that you can torture. You can knock out Adam Curry's tooth on the show, all by boosting specific amounts of Satoshis. And once we kind of integrated the video stuff, I mean, we had the physical disco ball, but now we're doing this stream where we as the show are setting the bands up to do a quote unquote Twitch stream, and we're just grabbing that and rebroadcasting it through the infrastructure of everything that we got set up, which includes all of the wallet switching, so on and so forth. But when they do that, we're able to put on the screen. I don't know how hard it'll be to find one in person. Hopefully not super difficult. There we go. Yeah, so we've been working on these neon sort of LED, or sorry, not LED, but neon boost alerts that show up with the person's name and amount every time they boost a show. So it's a real kind of classic.
Kind of
Drop
like
the disco ball the
super
same
chat
time as you
sort of
drop it.
thing?
Oh, sorry, what's that?
Kind of like a super chat in YouTube.
Yeah. This we don't have the messages show up for a specific reason, because we come back after the fact, and when you actually look up these shows in a podcast feed, what you'll see is at the very, very top, before you even get to the episode, the first thing is the episode where we sit down and read all of the boostergrams together, the boost recap specifically. And it's just 2 hours of whoever can make it for that call, bands, MCs, artists, programmers. We just get together and value for value style thank everybody that came out and helped produce it. So we did admit having the messages show up on the actual video. There is a portion where we get to the boost babes, and the boost babe is actually got like a scoreboard there on the screen, and some of the messages are showing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is also the same scoreboard that we saw here on the side. This is Frankie Paint. She's one of the, she is the production manager for Thunder Road Media and the Satellite Skirmishes. And for Autumn Rust, she was a boost babe. And we got more like cartoon MCs. You know Nick the Rat, right?
Yep.
Nick the Rat actually drew this Mothman avatar that I'm using, and he was a MC for one of them, along with Sir Spencer, Wolf of Kansas City. Sir Spencer, Wolf of Kansas City, will be joining us this time in a new role as a boost babe, which will be really great. If you are ever interested in like how this all came about, I always recommend people check out a podcast called Ablecraft, ABLEKRAFT. And what they do is they sit and Spencer and another gentleman by the name of Abel Kirby get together remotely weekly to record an album that was produced with podcasting 2.0 specifically in mind. And this is the first time I was able to actually be involved in a split is with the Stay a While album that they released in was it December of 2021, I want to say. But yeah, this is my first introduction to being a part of a split like this, and what I did was the show art. And went out and covered my arm in wine gravy, took a photo in the snow.
Nice. And they use that for the album art. So then every time they sell an album, you get a few Satoshis.
Every time that someone comes in and boosts this specific track through a podcast app like let's see if I can get this working. Stay a while, like wine. Where are you at? Like wine. Let's see if I can boost this thing real quick.
You're doing it live. You're doing it live.
Yeah. Now you're gonna make me look up the. Fuck it. I want to murder a goat. That's what I want. And boost. This is a really great album. It's 6 songs, I want to say. It's all people from the No Agenda stream and adjacent, in terms of musicians and artists. Each one of these tracks had, the artists split in. DeLorean, Dean Reiner, Roger Roundy, Carolyn Blaney, Cotton Gin. It was probably one of the most pivotal happenings that I can think of.
Right.
But check it out. Stay a while.
All right. So you just went into a podcast 2.0 app there that played the track and then did your boost, and that was it, right? Because you've got set up in your own profile or something, the wallet that you can boost from type thing. I mean, sorry to ask some pretty basic questions here, but
What the fuck? No, it's fine. It's not for everybody, but it's something that I would definitely recommend because it circumvents a lot of issues that I feel like people encounter when using custodial wallets and things like that. Me personally, I have this Raspberry Pi. It doesn't have to be a Raspberry Pi. It could be an older computer.
Boop, boop, beep, doop.
Oh yeah, there we go. We got a boost from Bully Steeds. She's listening to some music right now. She's listening to Overdose, which is an artist that Sch3m3s manages. If you haven't listened to Overdose, it's it's quite the trip. I love it.
awesome.
But yeah, it's mostly just, how much of it do you want to self-host? And we Lavish just got set up with a node, so now he's migrating off of Fountain. I mean, that's kind of the where I feel like people kind of get lost in the sauce is that there's 9,000 ways the skinned cat is laying here on the ground. It's like which avenue do you want to take first? Do you want to start with the head? Do you want to start with the tail, the feet, the toes? Like it's however you kind of like you make sense of it, I suppose. But really, like Spencer, the thing that made it click for me, as easy as analogy as it is like at some point you can read all the manuals you want and watch all the tutorial videos that you can find on YouTube, but the only way that you're going to learn how to drive a car is getting behind the wheel,
Yeah.
And it is like it does look daunting, but what I've come to realize over time is like really it's just kind of tedious data entry at its worst.
For what aspect of it? Like if you were just listening and boosting.
In that regards, it's easy. There's a couple of different apps that you could use. Fountain.fm is one. It comes with a built-in wallet. Albi wallet is another type of custodial wallet that people can use, and there's it's you can pay for Albi or you can self-host, like you can build your own node and self-host it. It's just kind of like where are you wanting to kind of like pass the buck off and have someone set it up for you versus you wanting to set it up. And that is one issue that people seem to be having with podcasting 2.0 is that a lot of the wallets out the gate were set up with this organization called Albi, Get Albi, and eventually they got to the point where they had to basically not be everybody's bank. They were going to have to start charging people because it was becoming too big of a beast. And that's a lot of people's Bitcoin that you're holding for them without like any compensation. And I'm not one of the people that like fault Albi by any means. Like they got to do what they got to do. And I just happen to be set up where I can tie in the Albi stuff with my node and it pretty much works seamlessly. For right now, I think if people want something as close to like a traditional app experience, which that's not always for everybody, but Fountain is doing really well in that regards. It's got social features that some of the most of the other apps aren't doing, with like just comment like type threads and things of that nature. um I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. That's good. I'm just trying to think of it from different perspectives. Like for just a user, somebody that's just listening and wants to hear music in a different avenue and wants to boost, and then for a band that would just maybe want to, like, if maybe they're thinking about other ways to get their music out, they could just do an RSS feed and get into this easy, right? Except for maybe the setup, like you're saying, data entry and all. Was that from like a band's perspective, or?
Yeah, from a bands and podcasters specifically, that's kind of like the tedious part is the data entry side. But there's always tools that exist. You just kind of have to know where to find them.
But if they already have it on an RSS, then
I'm gonna
that's
actually
neat,
share
right?
a link with y'all here real fast. This is a website called musicsideproject.com,
Okay.
which is the same guy that made CurioCaster, the Split Kit. He does another website that I use daily. Do you see a trend here? My life revolves around Stephen Bell, and I couldn't be happier for it. But Stephen Bell has this tool called Music Side Project, and it allows you to come in here and build a music type styled RSS feed out the gate. And then when you save it, the tricky part for people
Boop
is
boop be doop.
got another boost. The tricky part is for people to get it hosted somewhere. Now, ideally, if people are out there creating stuff and like especially recorded media, I would always recommend that they get some form of website just so that you can exist in your little own portioned off section of the internet
Yeah.
outside of
Okay.
the platforms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Again, people's wallets all range drastically. So for some, it's not financially available. There are avenues that people can go. I think, if I recall, you can actually. Nope, it's not there. I think Steven's got a tutorial in here of how you can get hosting going for music for like anywhere from $1 to $3 a month. And then it's just a matter of putting those
Boop
MP3s
boop be doop.
into a track and or I'm sorry, putting those MP3s
Boop
into
boop be doop.
Is it basically like an album is an album per feed type thing? So each album would show up with those tracks being like the episodes?
Correct. Now, there are some people that have been releasing quote unquote singles. I just got to turn the Wavelake stuff off. So much of it's just kind of AI. I'm just not into it. It's
So
kind
the
of.
album, is the band, and then there's each track is a post type thing. And
So like, Mookie does a lot of single releases. You have people that do kind of your traditional album styled releases. There's other people, two of them come to mind specifically. The Hey Citizen experience, he doesn't have an album, he's got one mega feed that he's been dropping all of his singles into.
yeah. I mean, I think it's super interesting right now, especially because I've heard some stories recently that some of these bigger name artists aren't getting the same like they're not being able to do the same concerts. Like there seems to be a shift even from the top sort of performers being able to bring in audiences in big arenas and stuff like that. So I feel like there is a bit of a shift too, and I mean, obviously there's been a huge shift since the online stuff and the music industry and YouTube, and I mean, the people
This
being
is
able to produce their own very, very good quality albums instead of going through the traditional route.
this is kind of a personal thing. I do work in event production, concert lighting specifically. I have been for a long ass time, toured for 9 years doing Broadway musicals. And going to see shows today nothing gets me more hyped for a concert than being treated like a fucking criminal coming in the door. It just gets me all jitty. I am so excited for it. Please give me the full body pat down because I have a pack of cigarettes in my pocket that you say has got the aluminum foil when your hubris won't even let you know that they switched it to some plastic paper piece of shit. Fuck you.
I never even thought about that, but yeah, that is a bit of a pain, right?
Yeah,
They don't have the aluminum foil anymore.
no, it's like this. At least the brand that I smoke, it's kind of like this plasticky type thing. I mean, I was wearing a denim jacket loaded to the gills with pins and studs and stuff. He's like, "Oh no, you don't have to take the jacket off; it won't go off."
He's just looking for your drugs. Give me your cigarettes. You think you have joints in there, man? This is just like easy. If I was a cop, I would get so many people.
Minnesota legal, baby.
Oh, there it is. Minnesota's legal now. Makes sense.
Yeah.
How many states you guys at then?
I do not know that number off the top of
They
my
still
head.
don't let you bring it into the concert, do they? Like it's legal here, but they still don't want you like bringing it into the venues usually.
I mean,
I think I don't know. I mean, I gotta go to Easter Island, and I'm like, I wonder if I could just bring a pen.
I this is all off the record, right?
Nowadays, well, it's on the podcast, so no. But
yeah, okay, cool.
You're a fucking flying bug, so you're probably okay. I think
I have pockets.
The moth.
He's a moth. You can get nowadays. You can get those edibles. They look just like little vitamin D's, man. You just get them. They're like 10 milligrams each. Just dump them into a jar that says vitamin D on it. I think you'd be good to go.
What I will say in my experiences and traveling is that, if something is very obvious, then yeah, you might have some issues. Or if you very obviously try to hide something, you might have some issues. But if you lean into the innocuous, things happen. People show up to concerts, and the worm churns.
How long is this? So how involved then? I mean, this is all part of this sort of podcasting 2.0, and it sort of lines up with what's the podcasting 2.0? The other part of that is the podcast index, right? Is this pretty closely tied with all that? Is this in the
podcast index exists in the place of like Apple's podcast index or Spotify's repository of RSS feeds. The podcast index is it's actually available on a GitHub. So if you wanted to, you could fork the whole thing and run it yourself. I don't know what that would entail because I'm not that smart, but somebody could.
I wonder how many people are.
I don't know. I really don't know. But there's apps.
Open source is the library, right? Basically, you download that and you've got all the podcast feeds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they got nudepodcastapps.com is where you want to go. But just make sure all your clothes are off first before you go. But the podcast index actually kind of gives you some data about how many feeds are going.
Yeah, when we had Adam on last time, he said there was 4 million shows, but only 100,000 uploaded in the last, or 100,000 had uploaded in the last 90 days. And I think that number was down around like 50 that had uploaded in the last 30.
Currently, it's 355,000 podcasts that have updated at least once in the last 30 days.
Yeah, that makes more sense. 50 seemed low. So that's in the last 30 days, which is probably considered an active podcast.
Yeah, I mean, if it's like I would say anywhere from bi-weekly to monthly is active. If it's every other month, maybe it's a special. I don't know. It's kind of like
that if you go to say 90 days.
At 90 days, it is 486,461.
So that's still not a lot. It's 10%. So there's not, I mean, when people say there's millions of podcasts, there's really only a few 100,000.
Yeah. Because, how many of these were a couple of friends getting together and they recorded 3 things and that was that?
A lot of them. I think 7's still the magic number. the average episode number of podcast episodes that people make it to is 7, and our buddy made it to 7. So, I mean, it was pretty ironic.
Can I get a little gay with it for a second? Will you permiss me? Can I gush?
I permiss Graham. So
Sweet. It was y'all's appearance on Grumpy Old Ben's that really, I took it at a good point with having done mushrooms recently. It was either right before or right after. And that was one of the things that y'all had discussed was the clearing that initial hurdle. And I forget specifically what episode count that you had said it, but if you can get past this number, then you're probably going to be okay. And that was like that big push because I think we were like in the early 20s and it was really difficult to try and coordinate 3 different people with 3 different schedules, and 2 of them want to get really drunk on the show and argue politics, and I'm just getting drunk because I'm here. Like, it's evolved.
Yeah. Stick-to-itiveness is probably what we talked about too. Just making it consistent and regular as much as you can. Yeah.
Oh, dude, going live, man. If anybody out there ever wants to start a show for whatever reason, the one thing I cannot recommend enough.
Don't go live.
Oh, dude, I love doing the live to tape. If we were to do a show Monday night, me and Lavish, and we weren't streaming live, it wouldn't be the same show because there's people in the green room that are actively producing it with us in real time, whether that be calling the voicemail line, hanging out in the chat, boosting the show, murdering goats, zapping gimps. It's kind of like we're not behind the schemes without that live angle to it.
My advice to people would be don't do live and don't do video, and you'll be just fine.
I'll meet you halfway and say live audio.
Live audio. We started with live audio. We might have even stuck with it, but I mean, now we've opened up this whole can of worms that is hard to step back from. But at the time we were trying Mixler and shit like that, and it was all kind of garbage. If there had been this podcasting 2.0 at the time, I mean, it just seems like everything seems a lot easier to just go live to tape. Even the apps are supporting it. So you get, like, I listen to the No Agenda stream now. I mean, usually I still end up on the website, but I also use one of those podcasting 2.0 apps when the website, like I forget what it's called, but Pod Chaser, maybe, is that one?
That sounds familiar. At this current moment, there are not a ton, but enough apps that do support listening live. Podcast Addict, CurioCaster, Fountain, True Fans, Podverse, Podcast Guru.
Podverse, I think, is the one.
So they would go. You would go into Podverse, let's say, or Podcast Addict.
That's the one.
And if you wanted to find some of these bands in there, how would you go about that?
This is one thing I'm hoping will change with the Podverse 2.0 redo. It's a little convoluted. So, like, let's Midnight Mike's band is 1.3, right? So I can search 1.3, doesn't show up. That's unfortunate. But I know the name of the album, so I can type in Midwestern Apathy. There it shows up. So it's easier to find music in a sense if you're using the Podverse app and listening to a music show. Mitch, the creator of Podverse, added the ability to favorite a track inside of the podcast. Inside of the music podcast, so it'll save it to your library for later. I still use Ellen Beats mostly when it comes to just listening to music. ellenbeats.com, like Ellen Beats.
Like LN, like letters LN, or
Lightning Network, yeah.
Okay.
Or like Ellen, I think it's Ellen EL. Someone bought Ellen Beats, like Ellen DeGeneres Beats. So you could type in ellenbeats.com or ellenbeats.com.
That's like I bought Grimera.ca.
Ah, good call.
Yeah. It never ever did come in useful, but
oh, I do have one thing I'd like to show you to kind of help tease for the Oh, I never even said never even threw the logo up. God, literally let anybody on the internet. One of the things that we're doing for this concert again is the boost alert. So someone sends a boost, animation plays on the screen. You might have seen me fat thumb this a little earlier ago. But for this particular production, we've got 10 different effects that fire, and each one is tied to the last digit of a boost. So someone sends in one or 333 sats. That is the quote unquote number 3 trigger, and that fires this particular animation. And so we have 10 different versions of those, a special floral arrangement number, 420. And there's also these threshold boosts that we're doing. So every time we pass a certain amount, we'll be doing unique illustrations for those. I'm so excited because we've never done this before.
That's great. So what kind of I got a couple of stupid questions. Darren, do you have any more, or do you want to?
What's the mainstream crossover like?
I don't know.
if mainstream's the word, but sort of what are the sort
We
of
are the
bigger-
mainstream.
Yeah, what are sort of the bigger bands on there that some of our listeners might recognize? Is there anyone like that joining the network yet?
I mean, you might find bigger names through the Wavelake side of stuff. Again, I really don't have much to do with that side. On the decentralized music side, the kind of self-hosted stuff, 12 Rods is a band that had quite a sparkly start. I think they are on record for a Guinness record for having like one of the biggest record signing contract number wise when they first got started. But really, I mean, this is like, I want to make my own superstars for whatever
Shouldn't
that
they all
means.
be on there? Like, even if the bands are on YouTube or they're on here, they're on there. They should be on here too, right? I mean, it just seems like a no brainer that eventually the crossover should be. It should just like completely which like ideally it's just another source for music, kind of like the podcast directory has everything. It has everything in there. That's it'd be neat to see music start going this way because it doesn't seem like the musicians are happy with anything.
That's
You know,
yeah, that's kind of what
Spotify,
I
they're
mean.
pissed at that none of it's fucking working. Nothing's working.
This is a conversation that I've been a part of a couple of times, and I really don't know like what to say or what to expect in terms of like, does it finally work if we have a big name? Because as far as we have shown, this stuff does work with the people that are already here, and like that's kind of where my focus is primarily trained at, is working with the people that are here rather than trying to chase down people that may or may not, even like some of these bands that I've been working with. I've uploaded almost 100 RSS feeds for bands and stuff. Sch3m3s is actually, if you're into 90s punk, Sch3m3s Chemical Imbalance, they're on here. I got them uploaded. There's a guitarist from Guar, Flatus Maximus. His solo album is on here, The Death of Rock and Roll. So, I mean, there's like people kind of floating around, but they're not, they just, some weirdo on the internet was like, hey, come on our show. I want to do this music stuff with you. And then that's kind of, they just checked out. And that happened, for even like bands that are here locally that we did a show with. I want to like try and work with them. And they just kind of like, we have Instagram stuff that we got to like put our primary focus into, because the Instagram subscribers is how they get the bookings for the shows, because you have to have so many Instagram subscribers or TikTok followers to actually even like gain access to a stage.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that's kind of goes into one of my dumb questions. So for example, Procession $50 Dynasty, like I searched that, it came into iTunes, so it's in Apple Music as a podcast, but it's not in Podcast Addict or it's not in Podverse. So is that just because the way they went and pushed their feed?
They would, if it depends on where they have the actual MP3s saved at, because they could take an RSS feed, right? So like, let's say they took this and who's a big hosting company that doesn't really do
like Libsyn. Like what would
yeah, Libsyn. I think Libsyn might have some PC 2.0 features, but let's pretend that they don't for the moment. So they upload all their music and they build this RSS feed and they can add it to the index, but that index or that RSS feed is still lacking the specific tags like your wallet address and the stuff like that. So they would still need to make sure that their RSS feed is compliant with
2.0.
with 2.0. So like they could certainly still use the MP3 files and the artwork where it's at. They just need to grab those links and punch it in here at musicsideproject.com. Ooh, not that one. The other musicsideproject.com.
I just noticed that the A list is in the podcast index 5 times. So I don't know what I did there.
So
I use PowerPress.
Yep, PowerPress through WordPress.
Yeah, it had all the podcasting 2.0 options in there.
Yeah, they have a lot of stuff that you can do. I've looked at it. PowerPress.
because that's kind of what I was getting at. Like,
Yeah, here it is.
Like our buddies, $50 Dynasty have already gone as far to put it on like Apple and Spotify and all these places. Well, Spotify, no doubt, but they've got it in podcast form. So it's like they should just go this little bit further to get it into 2.0. And
well, that might be something like DistroKid. That was the name that I was trying to think of earlier. DistroKid is a organization where you submit your music to them and then they run it around and put all the license and bullshit that they got to do and get it uploaded to Spotify, iTunes, so on and so forth. So I don't know. What was the name of it again? $50
Dynasty is the band. But I didn't want to interrupt what you guys are doing there.
No, you're good. I'm just pulling this up. Ooh, I love the artwork already. Bookmarking that so I can come back and investigate a little bit. So yeah, man, it's I think either way, regardless of like, because at the end of the day, I don't want to go to LN Beats to listen to U2. I would listen to Guar through LN Beats every day, definitely. I mean that's no question, but I just think that there's people here that are doing some really important work, and if some of the bigger names happen to come along, it might be now, or we could be waiting 10 years. The music
it's probably best to wait. I mean, look what happened to podcasting, right? All the TV celebrities got their own podcasts, and everybody's in there now. Everybody's a podcaster now.
Yep. And those shows they won't have the lasting power of like Grimerica or OBDM or No Agenda or so on and so forth. Hopefully us someday, if I don't retreat to the mountains permanently.
No doubt.
You can do both now with Starlink.
Ooh.
You can do both. You can have your cake and eat it too.
Hey, West Virginia is beautiful country. I'm just saying.
That's a great point. Cannabis Records official says, signal, not noise. Independent artists need a space that's not stupid crowded by the same sound you can hear everywhere else. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and like when I think of the masses, what inevitably comes to the forefront of my mind is the remnants of the maintain social distancing stickers on the floors of grocery stores and stuff like that.
The Canadian elections a couple days ago.
I'm not saying that we by any means have to bar people and gatekeep and no, you can't exist here. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying, like, if you are trying to just like pull in as many people as you can, like, you're gonna have people there, and that can kind of go lots of ways, because people are unpredictable. People kind of suck. I like a person. People,
We hear you.
We hear you. Yeah, we do. Is there anything you feel like we missed before we start to wrap up?
hmm.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
where can
oftentimes when
people,
walking
you
in-
mentioned the thing on May 10th. Well, how can people tune into that?
People need to go to liveislit.com. Liveislit.com. It's a new website that we got set up. We have a post that kind of gets into the background of the satellite spotlight, and then upcoming events. We'll have a button that'll actually take you to the watch page for this edition of the concert, and we'll have a button to like boost the crew. You can boost each of the bands directly. We'll have a differently themed scoreboard this time around.
And people don't need anything fancy to get, like, we got all this sort of technical jargon running around about boosting, but they don't need any of that really to get there. They can just sort of get there by clicking the buttons and start watching music.
Absolutely.
And there's a link in the show. There's a link in all these videos and in the show notes for Live is Lit right now. So
perfect. Yeah, it's brand new. It's free for people to sign up if they want to use it. What I'm hoping it ends up becoming is kind of just like a little local community board for when bands that are using podcasting 2.0 features, they have upcoming live shows or album releases, single drops, guest appearances on podcasts. I think it would be absolutely acceptable for podcasters to create an artist, because I don't care what anybody says. Podcasters are artists, and so they should be included in this artist page. So if they have upcoming special events or interviews with people, hopefully they would post about it, and we'll get some like social relay type stuff going. Oh, I'm sitting here like showing all this cool stuff. I don't even have the easel out. God. Ugh. Fuck video, man. But yeah, we'll have our
you can redo that segment if you want.
We'll fix it in post.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is each one of these, when you click into them, they show you the full splits of where all your stats are going. That includes the bands. So there we see the Trusted In at 80%. Red Arrow Highway, Nate Jonovan, 94%. The center button eventually will represent the live chapters. So those dynamic credit splits we were looking at earlier, that's what the center button will be taken care of. So that's May 10th, 2025, liveislit.com. There'll be links to the IRC chat room where we're hanging out. There'll be links to the video stream, links to the scoreboard. We might get some easy breezy, like short tutorial pieces written up if people need like a quick primer. But really, I mean, this is a value for value production. And as y'all know, you can support a value for value production in any way that you deem fit. Is that with your time spent listening to the show and hanging out in the chat? Is that talents of getting involved with the next one when that inevitably comes around? Is that supporting with Satoshis? We don't have a PayPal set up for this, because I just don't want to be like splitting fiat money. So it's really just like kind of a podcasting 2.0 and Bitcoin specific type stream.
Well, I mean, that must be exciting in a way too. Like Bitcoin's getting some notice here from even the White House talking about it. I mean, I haven't listened to No Agenda in a while, so I don't know how much they've been talking about it. But this is the Bitcoin president in a lot of ways, right? And it was a podcasting election, so it's pretty interesting that we have so much movement on the crypto. And I mean, this is a great way to play around with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Total
I mean,
stats, 2,347,866 on the split kit.
Yep, that was after that Polar Embrace. The Satellite Skirmish Polar Embrace was our third edition. It took place on the sixth moon of Saturn in Enceladus. It was a frigid day that night. And yeah, that was the total amount after that one. It might, I don't know, some of these, they kind of get jumbled up with other shows. So these are not like set in stone by
Yeah, but
any
it just
means.
shows that there's a bit of a community following along and listening and stuff too. So
Yeah, it's small, but everybody is super into it, and I'm eternally grateful for the presence of everybody that is here and eventually will be here. I definitely think that things will grow, but they'll grow at its own pace.
yeah, exactly. I love it.
Where can people find your podcast?
Behind the Schemes, we're live every Monday night. Myself and Lavish. Check us out over at badradio.live or behindtheschemes.com, Sch3m3s. We kick that son of a bitch off every Monday night, 7:30 Pacific, 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern over there on the Beast Coast. And behindtheschemes.chat is the way to get into the hashtag green room where we hang out every day. We're there doing stuff. We're doing production meetings in the in the chat. And the last thing I think that I wanted to shout out, if people are looking to maybe get into something for the rest of the evening, probably for like another hour or so, it just started, but Frankie Paint, production manager for Thunder Road Media, the Satellite Skirmishes, and other shows, she's doing a Fountain Radio takeover. So if you go to fountain.fm/radio, you can check her out playing some tracks from past shows and some of her other favorite tracks. Doesn't even have to be related to a concert.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Well,
Fountain.fm/radio. So just go Fountain FM and then click on radio, and that's awesome.
Yep. And they do periodical Fountain takeovers. It doesn't have to be just for us. You just reach out to them and they'll give you the keys. And actually, if you look right here, you can kind of see some boost coming in from that. So isn't that what OBDM uses? They're listening to so when we can see people boosting that stuff right now as they are listening, which is like, that's the coolest part. Metrics are toast. Download numbers are down. Boostergrams are a way that you can actually confirm that somebody is sitting there listening, because like, here's people streaming sats per minute. Odyssey Westra is listening to Matt the Tall, the ocarina player on the Mountain Music Happy Hour. It's so good.
Yeah, that's cool. This is awesome.
I like it. Well, Booberry, this has been great. We appreciate you coming on the show and all the things you've helped us out with over the years. It's nice to get down and sit down and talk some inside baseball. And we encourage our listeners to go check this out. I like the idea of like this live stream and live performances and stuff like that. It seems cool.
Yeah, man. Like, podcasters get together every week to do a show. In theory, bands get together every once in a while to record. I mean, like, if bands start to get together and they set up a camera and a live stream, like, they can do not a podcast, but like, this community door is right there. And there's people that are super frothy. So just if you're interested out there, you can hear the sound of my voice and this sounds titillating to you, rest assured it is. And come get some.
Right
Awesome,
on.
dude.
Thanks for coming on the show and come back. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Absolutely, man.
Awesome. Have a good one on May 10th.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll get this out on audio before then.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
And if y'all ever have any questions, you want to get together and do a call, ask questions, whatever, I am there. Hit me up.
Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Great.
Have a good one.
Good.
See ya.
And that was a chat with the enigmatic Blueberry. I mean, I like that little bug. I want one.
That was inspiring. That was good.
That was a good one.
Just see
Sometimes I'll
what's
send my bug to chat with you instead when I don't feel like it. Darren's not here. I was like, reminds me of like Arrested Development when Super Dave had the camera on his head, the surrogate.
Oh, Super Dave was in there. Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah. That was hilarious. Yeah.
Anyway, big thanks to Blueberry for coming on the chat show. Even bigger thanks if you're to the listeners, thanks for listening. Even bigger thanks if you're one of our supporters, our nobles in Grimerica. We couldn't do it without you. Head over to grimerica.ca/support today to sign up for a monthly or make a one-time donation. Of course, grimericaoutlawed.ca is our other podcast. Adultbrain.ca is all our audiobooks and all that sort of stuff. Also available on podcast on Podcasting 2.0. So, and then grimericaCBD.com for CBD tinctures and gummies and that sort of stuff, and some THC ones too. And what did I miss? Contact at thecabin.com for trips and events. Other than that, we love you guys. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.